Okay, so I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Public Works Committee, and the first item is the election of a chairman. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Mark Skidmore as chair.
So we have a nomination for Mark Skidmore. Do we have any other nominations? All those in favor of Mark Skidmore being your chairman, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. That's unanimous. Alderman Skidmore, Vice Mayor Skidmore, you're now Chairman Skidmore.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, thank
Go
you.
ahead. Thank you.
All right, floor, we're going to get moved right on. Good to see you this evening, Sarah. We've got I'd like to go ahead and I don't have the thing in front of me, but oh, here we do, right in front of me. Gosh, it's a whirlwind tonight. We've had a very special night for all of us. Thank you again for the chairmanship. This committee is such a unique committee, and I would like to go ahead and then I'll say some remarks here in just a few minutes. But I want to get the election of the vice chairman in, and also it does not say this, but I would like to. It says in Robert's Rules of Order, and not only that, but also in our charter that we have a secretary. And I think we're one of the only. There's one other committee I think that has a secretary, believe it or not. But I would like to continue that. So the floor is open for the vice chairman of Public Works.
I nominate Eddie Roberson.
I second that motion. And since there's no other motions being made in this committee, I'd like to have him, or I would make a motion we elect Alderman Robeson by acclamation. So all in favor say aye. All opposed, it passes unanimously. And then I would like for the floor is open for the secretary.
I move that we nominate Michael Martin.
And I second that motion. Any further? Anybody else? I agree with that. And I would like to have our Alderman Martin elected and make a motion that he be elected by acclamation as well. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, it passes unanimously. So we have completed our work on the elections. I do want to say one thing just briefly. I have said this not only here in this committee, but I have said it publicly, and I've said it to the newspaper, and quite frankly, anybody that would listen, that our committee is I think is one of the best in the city of Hendersonville, if not the best. You guys really carry the old saying, carry the water for me, because you're very smart. And you're very astute, and it makes Sarah and myself look pretty good sometimes on the board level. And I appreciate the effort that you all give to this committee, because it really is. There's a lot that's involved in it. And so Sarah, just want to say thank you, not only for the guys there, but for the effort that you always give, because it's 100%. And I appreciate that. And if you will tell your staff the same thing, because we all have a great relationship over there with the aldermen, and they're very kind. And every time, I will say this too, anytime I've had a constituent call or anybody in the city of Hendersonville, they go, well, sometimes, Mark, the Public Works people are better to talk to than you are. And so I go, well, then you need to call them again, or something like that when we're dealing with drainage projects or garbage pickup or something like that. But if you would relay the message that how much I appreciate them and the great work that they do in Public Works. And that includes, I know, because I see them too in IT. So I'll let them know, all of them, that they do great work. Okay. The minutes, let's go ahead with that. I need a motion for the approval of the 22nd meeting minutes of October 22nd.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, there's been a proper motion discussion. Hearing none, is everybody ready to vote? All in favor of approval of the October 22nd, 2024 meetings, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. On to citizens' comments. There's no comments tonight. There's, citizens are not here this evening. So we'll go on now to ordinances and resolutions. First reading of ordinance 2024, an ordinance amending the budget ordinance of 2024-08 to appropriate funds for the Eagle View subdivision project in Hendersonville. And Sarah, you want to talk a little bit about that for us?
Yes, this is a development off of New Shackle Island Road. It's just a cul-de-sac, and we have been trying to work with the developer for a couple of years now to get the subdivision completed. The building permits have been on hold for I think it's almost 2 years now.
Okay.
One of the main issues is the entrance off of New Shackle Island Road. TDOT has not approved a permit for that entrance to date because the design did not meet their requirements. And we had been working with them, and they have now not been responsive. And so we have pulled the surety. It was a cashier's check. And so this is an ordinance to appropriate those funds for the city to make this a project and for us to complete the subdivision, to work with TDOT to get the entrance permit and get that resolved. And then any overruns that exceed the amount of their surety, Lance, our city attorney, included in the ordinance that we would then pursue judgments or liens to recuperate any of those funds.
Okay. Any questions from the committee on that?
So have they just not been responsive?
Correct, yes. So we were having a very difficult time getting them to finalize a contract with an engineer to fix the bridge and the entrance and to work with TDOT and get an approved permit. And so we finally issued a letter because it was just churning, nothing was happening. And so we issued a letter with some milestones. And the letter was very clear that if any of those milestones were missed, then we would pull the surety to complete the work. And so they met the first milestone, did not meet the second milestone, and then when we issued letters and email communication, there was no response. And we haven't had a response since.
So how many building permits are we holding?
2.
2. So after we complete the project, then we will release the building permit on those 2 lots.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But there may be, I mean, it's anticipated the work will cost more than what we have in the surety now. Construction costs have increased significantly since the time of that surety, so likely there would be liens on those properties.
And the developers Eagle Homes LLC.
Yes.
Okay.
Are they, only 2 questions for me. Are they a company here, local, or are they not? Are they?
They do have a Hendersonville address.
Okay. And how much is this? I didn't look, I did not look to see how much
It's a little bit of
how much?
94.2.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Any further, I think that, my personal opinion, I think we just need to pull it. I mean, and I think this is a good ordinance. They're not doing anything, so, you know, that's just the way that I feel. Any further discussion on this? Hearing none, everybody ready to vote? The ordinance 2024-23, which is ordinance amending the budget ordinance of 2024-08 to appropriate funds for the Eagle View subdivision project in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. And this will go straight to the board, right? Because or will it go to general, or will it go to any other committee?
It's being heard at finance tonight as well, and then it
Finance.
will go to the.
Okay, good deal. All right. Well, we'll make the recommendation to go, since it's being heard in finance, to the board. Is if there's any dispute as to that, we can rehear that. But I just think since they're gonna hear it, because I'm sure they'll pass it. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
And tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I think they'll pass.
Yeah,
Okay, item 2 is reading resolution 2024 sponsored by Alderman Collins, which is a resolution accepting dedication of completed streets in Millstone phases 1, 2, and 3 in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All right, there's been a proper motion, second discussion. Hearing none, is everybody ready to vote? Okay, we are now voting on resolution 2024-44, resolution accepting the dedication of completed streets in Millstone phases 1, 2, and 3 in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, it passes unanimously. And then the third, what we've got is from a resolution from Alderman Goodwin, is a resolution 2024-45, is a resolution accepting the dedication of the completed streets and meadows of Indian Lake, Phase 4, Section 1 in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee. Need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, there's been a proper motion and discussion.
Yeah, I appreciate you getting the aldermen that represent that area as sponsors. I think that they've got skin in the game, and that helps them to understand the process too. So I appreciate staff doing that. That's all.
Very much. That is a good point to make. All right, any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, is everyone ready to vote? All in favor of the resolution accepting dedication of the completed streets and meadows of Indian Lake, Phase 4, Section 1 in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, it passes unanimously. Now on to our famous, world famous other agenda items, and it's the trash collection
No,
update.
no pressure.
Well, I don't know how I can beat that, but it's been going well. The trash misses are still well below the threshold where we would be looking at assessing any penalties. And again, these are reported misses, so the actual misses are typically far less than this. Actually, today at the end of the day, when I looked to see what was still open, there was one open miss in track keys for this afternoon. So, and that's consistently been how it's been going.
Well, we hate that, but it's still good, really good.
Very
I
good.
mean,
It's very good.
yeah.
So 20 at the end of the day.
So Sarah, some of the, so people that have their garbage collected on Thursday will have it collected on Friday.
Yes,
And people whose garbage is to be collected on Fridays will be collected on Saturdays.
that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I've got a lot of people in my ward that have Saturday pickups.
Okay.
And so, I'm sorry, Friday pickups.
Right.
So I hope that we can get all of those Saturday and not have to wait till the next week.
They
I hope they're manned up.
should be ready to go for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been getting calls about that, but we've been through, I don't know why, I have one person that is not my ward, but they continue to call, and this is like the second year or third year, they called me and asking me about the holiday and cup, and I said, it'll get picked up,
Yeah.
the following day, whatever they pick it up. So, we're good to go on that. So that's good news on the trash collection update. Any other further discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll go to the stormwater penalty matrix.
Yes, so previously when we were discussing,
Did we vote on that last item? I know we have a motion second. Did we vote?
It was
Sarah?
just a trash collection update.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael.
that's okay.
That's right.
Yes. So when we spoke about the stormwater ordinance that we passed, I guess about 2 months ago now, there were questions about how we were assessing penalties, and we notified this committee that we were working on a penalty matrix that was in line with what other communities around us were doing, since our ordinance was a little bit vague on the penalties. And so this is sort of a receive and file of the penalty matrix for the penalties associated with different offenses against the stormwater ordinance. It references the municipal code, and then the number of violations would be number of days. So a lot of times because we always start with communication, notifying of the issue, notice of violation. many times people resolve the issue and it does not need to progress from there. But there are times where they do not resolve the issue and it's ongoing for, 10 days, 20 days. And so that would be a multiplier. And then of course there'd be a multiplier for each prior notice of violation. So for repeat offenders that continue to do the same thing and disregard the ordinance, there'd be an increase on those fees for them. So is there any questions?
They seem kind of low. The example you talked about last time was paint buckets spilling into the river. Under this, how much would that penalty be?
That would be.
Is it $100?
It would be, if it were residential, like someone's backyard, it could be $50. If it were, it could potentially, just depending on what they're putting in there, it could be the 500, but that would really be more for industrial. So probably the $50, and that is per day that it's left unresolved. They do add up pretty quickly, and the intention was for residential. Most people don't know, honestly. Most people don't know. Some do, but most don't. And so when we go out and communicate with them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea," and that kind of resolves the issue other than getting it cleaned up. So that's the intention there, but consider alternative.
John, need me for anything?
No,
We're almost through. Actually, we just got two more after this and we're done, man.
Thank you.
So you're good. Thank you. You did a good job carrying the load tonight. Okay, buddy.
see,
So who were the peers that we reviewed to compare these two?
Gallatin, Metro, and I think possibly Lebanon. It's either Lebanon or Franklin, possibly Franklin.
Okay.
They have a fairly robust stormwater management.
And I'm sure they're statutorily supported. I'm sure they're per TCA.
Yes, yeah, we're permitted, I think
Authority.
it's up to $5,000
Okay.
per day. And there's really no clarification on, how to assess those. So this
Okay.
just provides good guidance for staff.
then TDEC fines would be separate from this, so they could get penalized from them too.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
So do we have to approve this?
It was an exhibit.
Yes, so this is more of a receive and file. It's included as part of the enforcement response plan, which is nested inside of the stormwater ordinance. It's referenced through there.
So it was just a format like information for us to know on that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion on this? Of course, when we get home, you're like me. You don't answer, then you're at home watching YouTube or something on TV at about 2 a.m. You go, man, I forgot to ask her that. We'll probably be calling you on this the next day, trying to say, oh, I meant to ask you this. So we'll put that down, but thank you for bringing this to our attention. Let's go on to Maple Road Boulevard Stormwater Improvement Project.
This project is initiated prior to my tenure in this position, but this will construct stormwater infrastructure within the existing right-of-way and easements along Maple Road Boulevard.
Right.
We're working through utility coordination now. There are 3 properties that need easements. They're temporary construction easements. There's no permanent right-of-way needed. And so we have completed the appraisals for those, and we have received proposals for the acquisition process, but we have not begun yet. So we wanted to bring it to committee at this time to discuss the project, if there were any concerns, questions, or this has our opinion of probable cost does reflect this is a capital project at this point. It is funded for construction through the ARPA funds. This was listed as one of the projects.
Okay, you answered the question.
And so there are also payment in lieu funds that I have financed. They're older, so I don't know if she'll be able to find the records for those specifically, but there were payment in lieu that were received from property owners along the stretch of Maple Road Boulevard toward the stormwater infrastructure.
So were they not built when, Hale developed Indian Lake?
No, this section of Maple Road Boulevard, for whatever reason, like there's a section in front of Kroger where there's some storm infrastructure, and then on the other end, closer to where it ties into Indian Lake Road, there's some storm infrastructure, but the section in between, there was no storm infrastructure constructed through there.
So is this land sold? Or there's not, it's vacant land, or is it got construction on it? Are there buildings?
Yes, some of them, there's one that's vacant, there are two that are already constructed. But it is a temporary construction easement, and part of the appraisal they reviewed, is the temporary construction easement, I think encumbers 2 parking spaces for one of the property owners, for one of the properties. And so they did a review to make sure that they still were able to meet their minimum parking requirements, things like that. So we believe the impact to be fairly minimal. Most of it is in public right of way and existing drainage easements. It will disrupt some landscaping, things like that, but we'll restore that, but the construction,
This has to be done before we pave it.
yes.
This is a road that's gonna be paved, right?
So as part of this project, that section would be repaved, and then as part of our paving plan, we would budget to have the remainder paved as well. Yes.
This is just that curve that connects the 2 straight streets.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This just for the record, this is the street that you turn on to go to Regions Bank or Burger King. You're up there, and then it comes out at the school
That's correct.
at Hendersonville High School parking lot, or Ellis, I think it's called, or middle school. I don't even know if that's middle school anymore. I don't know if they've taken that, shut that down, because that's the old high school, one I graduated from, believe it or not.
It's in Ward 2, isn't it?
So you feel pretty good about it,
Right
boss?
behind Kroger, yeah.
Okay, man.
I don't know how it got left out, but we gotta connect it.
Yeah. Well, this is an old project. About how old is this? Because I can remember some discussion about this. I think it was with, this is how long ago it been, because I don't even think he might, he does everything in the northern part of the county. But I think Bruce Rainey and I had a discussion about this, so it's been that long ago. But do you know right offhand how old it is?
I don't. I know that Marshall was city engineer
Yeah.
at the time that I was hired in, and they were accepting payment in lieu for some of the parcels that were developing. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right. Any further discussion on Maple Road Boulevard stormwater? I'm glad something's going on there. It just needs to be worked out, and also with the paving, I think that's important too, to get that thing done. Because it is up on the front end, it's kind of rough when you're going past Kroger's around the end there. All right, let's go on with light synchronization. Got an update on that one?
So we have
One
some
of
of
the most
our.
important projects.
We do have some of our boxes checked. We got approval for the DVE goal, so for the disadvantaged business goal. Every federally funded project requires you to have a certain percentage of the project completed by a disadvantaged business owner. So we did get that approved. We are still waiting to hear back on the utility certification. We did receive the environmental certification, so we're clear there. They're not requiring anything else at this time. And then,
At this time.
well, we should be good. We should be. I don't ever say for sure, but we should be. And then, so they're just working on the bid book pretty heavily this week, and then next week trying to get that completed. It's usually about a 200 or 300 page document to send to TDOT for their review. The opinion of probable cost, they're working on that as well. So we're getting closer. I don't know that we'll be able to bid it before January, but that's what I've told them our goal is.
So it's not holding us up by any means. We're still, everything's cool. I mean, as far as we know at this point.
Yes, we're just working on completing the the various documents that they require for their review before we can go to bid.
Gotcha.
With that, our new traffic engineer started, and he is making a lot of improvements, like just section by section in the city, and I'm really very impressed with his depth of understanding and experience for ITS and traffic synchronization and coordination. He's pretty excellent. So
Good. Glad to hear that.
Would it be appropriate at our next Public Works meeting for that engineer to come and just to give us a report?
sure.
Is there something that he could report to us, what he's doing and working on? And
Yeah.
I'd like to meet him,
Okay, Yeah.
So,
we can do that.
All righty, that sounds good. Any other discussion on light synchronization? All right, and then under other business, does anybody have any other business?
just one item.
And then I have one too.
We're doing a lot of paving, I know, more than we've ever done. And so I didn't expect us to get all the paving done in the fall.
Mhm.
So what percentage are we of the paving budget did we accomplish in the fall?
We're gonna be very close to half,
Okay,
which will put us at more than we paved all of last year.
yeah. So do you anticipate any problem completing the other 50% in the spring
No,
before the new budget?
no, I don't think that'll be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, especially because we did a really good job of grouping things together, so it makes them more efficient.
And has that saved us money?
It has.
So will y'all be able to quantify that a bit at some time, maybe after
Yes,
all of it's done?
yes, I could.
Okay,
Mhm.
good.
All right. You have anything? And I just need to know the status of the bridge going into Key West.
I'll see what I can find out.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you on that. Okay. I don't have any other thing at this point in time. When are we scheduled to have another? Is it right after Christmas or not? We might, since.
I think it's technically Christmas Eve, which we wouldn't
Yeah.
all have a meeting at that time, so.
No, if that's all right, we'll reschedule if that's okay, guys.
The teams meeting.
Yeah.
So is our next meeting
It'll be in
January?
January. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay. If that's okay with you
Yeah.
guys, all right.
unless y'all need us to.
Yeah, catch or something. Yeah. Good. But anyway, all right then. Well, thank you very much. Okay, and there's
Second,
second
move to have a happy Thanksgiving.
and
Yes.
adjourned at